Nathan Graham, Will Johnson, Kenneth Grant, Josiah Stewart, Colston Loveland, Donovan Edwards. Now, why am I spouting off the list of a bunch of football players to you all? You may or may not know who they are. Well, there's a good chance that at least one of those gentlemen will be a future Chicago Bear. Welcome back to Bears Yard. This your boy Vipe, and Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen, and other members of the Chicago Bears staff were recently seen at the University of Michigan Pro Day. So all of those people I just named off, if you are not familiar with college football or not familiar with Michigan, they are all from the University of Michigan, and they are all in the upcoming NFL draft. Now, the popular name coming out of Michigan that you probably have heard of, Nathan Graham, Will Johnson, Kenneth Grant. I've talked about Nathan Graham and Kenneth Grant a lot on this channel. Haven't really mentioned Will Johnson much, but we'll get into him in a moment here. So all of these gentlemen are in the draft, and they're going to be drafted because, again, Michigan is a very good program in college football. They just won the national championship a year ago. So these dudes are all high-level players. They have college production. They have traits that the NFL scouts love to salivate over. So let's talk about them for a few minutes here. So I think most Bear fans probably are wishing upon a star that Nathan Graham, the defensive tackle for Michigan, will fall down to us at 10. There's a good chance that that will not happen. But I talked about the alternative a few times in Kenneth Grant. If you look at their production, it's kind of similar. Kenneth Grant is not that far behind Nathan Graham in production. Now, Nathan had more tackles. He jumped out more on tape. But Kenneth Graham is no slouch. He had 3 sacks this year, 18 solo tackles, and Nathan Graham had 3.5 sacks this past year. So again, Kenneth Grant, probably not somebody that will go in the first round of the draft, but if he's there at 39 or 41 for the Chicago Bears, then you can definitely consider the Bears maybe taking a look at Kenneth Grant. But the sleeper here in the first round that nobody has really mentioned too much for the Chicago Bears is Michigan cornerback Will Johnson. Now, this last season, he, I think, suffered a turf toe injury, so he kind of missed some time. But when he's right, the dude is a ball-hawking cornerback. I think last season he had 2 pick sixes on defense, 2 defensive touchdowns off of interceptions, if you don't know what the term pick six means. So, Will Johnson is a very good cornerback, and he is definitely going to go first round. He is considered a top 10 prospect in the draft. Again, we haven't really talked about him a lot to the Bears because the Bears are kind of loaded at cornerback, but Ben Johnson is definitely a fan of loading up positions of strength that are already there, so he might choose to go with Will Johnson, depending on how the Bears board falls. So definitely take a look at Will Johnson. Also, with tight end, Colston Loveland. There's been some chatter about Penn State Tyler Warren maybe going to the Bears, but what about Colston Loveland? He's a good blocker, he's productive, and he would be a great tight end too behind Cole Kmet as well. So the Bears could opt to take him at 10. Highly doubt it, but I don't know if Colston Loveland is going to make it to the second round. I think he is a first round talent. So if the Bears wanted him, it will probably have to be a 10 or a trade back. But Tyler Warren is considered widely the better prospect at tight end. The sleeper guy that I want to talk to y'all about as it relates to the University of Michigan is Josiah Stewart. He's a defensive end out of Michigan. The dude is an absolute beast. He had 8.5 sacks this past season, but his freshman year, he had 12 sacks as a true freshman on the University of Michigan football team. This dude is a beast. Now, the big problem with Josiah Stewart is that he's a little bit on the lighter side. He's like 245 pounds, 6 feet 1 inches. But as I keep telling you guys, I'm worried less about the measurables and worried more about their production. I know Dennis Allen likes bigger guys, but how can you look at the production of Josiah Stewart and be like, ew, I don't want that on my football team? That would be absolute bonkers to me. So I think that the Bears secretly could be looking hard at Josiah Stewart in that second or third round. I don't know if he goes past the second, to be honest with you all. Usually when an NFL coach shows up at a pro day, that is a very good indication that they are highly considering somebody from that school. That's why I said earlier that there's a good chance that one of these guys I mentioned from Michigan will be drafted by the Chicago Bears. But what I want to know from you all is, who do you all want from Michigan besides Nathan Graham? Because I know you all want Nathan Graham, but if you had to give me the name of a Michigan man not named Nathan Graham, who would you guys want the Bears to take from Michigan? Let me know in the comments. I think that we really need to pay hard attention to Josiah Stewart. That dude is going to be a beast in the league, and he could be a scary sleeper pick in the NFL draft. Speaking of the draft, I got a recent comment from my man James Weston, and he said, should wait for a running back to the 5th round. I don't know about that. Deepest running back draft in a long time, and lots of stuff later. If you want to know more about mock draft picks that I will make, check out my latest mock draft right there.